Afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Mr. Yu, and welcome all of you to this seminar on time management. Along with us, we have had this program along with our partner in Bangladesh, Believer Compliance and Sustainability, Mr. Rajan Khan, who is basically into audits, inspection, testing, certification, and all related aspects. And I think he is one of the well-known faces of Bangladesh, especially into the TIC industry. He also happened to be one of my colleagues in TUNN in Bangladesh. Of course, he has got experiences working with different organizations like SGS, Intertech, Profineland, and a couple of them, and more of it about it later. I will not take much of your time. I'll briefly run through our presentation today. Uh, we are a limited liability. We incorporated as a limited liability partnership in April 2017, and started working from the end of first quarter 2018. We converted this organization into a private limited company in March 2020, that's last year. We are headquartered, of course, in Bangalore, and of course, we have a presence in the main principal cities of India and overseas as well. We operate on three different verticals. We have, of course, an advisory board. Since we are a new startup, we wanted to have people from across different spectra of the industry. We have about 5 people right now: Dr. Venkatesh, Kavita, Rama, Ganesh, and Ravi. These are our 5 people. They come from different backgrounds. One is, of course, a chartered accountant. One is a CEO of a town planship authority. One is basically into administration and logistics. One is an academician. And one was a retired general manager of the Reserve Bank of India. A small visual tour of our office in Bangalore, and this is where we sit here. We have our corporate office, we have our training centers. This is our entrance, is the lobby here. You find the receptions and the workstations as well. We have a small library, a meeting room, lecture halls where we have our training sessions. Of course, right now because of the pandemic, everything has been online. Otherwise, we have 2 training halls with a capacity of about 25-30 each. Coming to the business verticals, we are into 3 business verticals: skill development, corporate consultancy, and corporate training. And skill development, we have artificial intelligence, machine learning, ethical hacking, Python programming, Java, full stack. We devised a separate program for safety of students, which we did, I think, a couple of sessions in 2019. 2020, we could not work on that, and 2021 as well because of the pandemic, and schools and colleges have been closed. A partial list of our corporate training programs are basically into AML workshops, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, health and safety, food safety and hygiene, first aid and CPR, internal auditor courses, IRC approved courses, project management, quality standards, laboratory management 17025. Yeah. And then, of course, into new product development, shop floor excellence, business excellence, balance scorecard, business planning, Six Sigma, advanced DDT, value analysis, value engineering, reliability engineering, functional safety, automobile and aerospace, GR&R, code tools again, and of course, onto specific railway safety standards, because there are European standards in terms of safety for railways, and we are in touch with a lot of metros at this point of time. To see how we can take forward. And incidentally, we also have a webinar on functional safety for railways on 17th of July. Corporate consultancy, again, all the ISO standards, we could say, at least the principal ones like 9, 14, 22, 45, 22, 301, 27,000, anti-bribery, 37,000, occupational health and safety, aerospace standard, laboratory management system, SA 8000, SMETA, and all of those social audit related standards. A process module basically for the IT industries on CMMI, and regulatory compliances like REACH, ROHS, and recently I also started off with the organizational framework on business excellence, which is now catching up in the Indian market. About our affiliations or registrations, we are registered with the Government of India MSME, also registered and acknowledged as a startup company by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. We are a member of the National Safety Council, affiliated with the Central Board for National Council of Vocational Research and Training, registered with the CMPKY, that's the Chief Minister's Kushal Kaushalya Yojana, which is a skill development initiative of the Karnataka government here. registered to the government e-marketplace. This is again from the government of India, wherein it becomes handy for us when we start participating in government tenders. We are authorized training center for the Grameen Skill Development Mission, member of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, now an authorized state partner of Skill India and SDC as well. We will also be shortly be a authorized training center for an SDC. A partial list of our clients, if you look at it, we have the big names, some German names as well. We have the Australian New Zealand ANZ Group, SAP, GMR, Kernlever, Cinemedia, T-Venin, Siemens, and the list goes on. We are close to about 30, 35 clients, I would say, regular clients and repeat clients as well for the last 2.5, 3 years. And then added to that, we have all the public training programs, the customized training programs that we have a huge list of clients from different companies and some of the repeat ones. And here are some pictures where we showcase about our programs here, new product development, Microsoft project management, and then we have GD&T, we have first aid training for SAP Labs, LA training for 9001, and this are some of our reviews that we got from our people who participated from our training programs and consultancy organizations. We have our partner here, Mr. Rajan Khan. I think he's a known name in the Bangladesh market. He's a managing director and the CEO of Believer Comprehensive Sustainability. He has completed his MBA and BBA from the University of Dhaka in 2008. He's a professional marketer in the TIC industry. TIC is synonymous with testing, inspection, and certifications. Over 13 plus years in different parties, third parties, and MNC companies. I was also mentioning about his association with us, Infofriend, and apart from that, all the global players, if you look at it, like Intertech, SGS, Tufnord, Elevate, he has been associated with each of them in the past. He is probably the only person in the tech industry who has served different third parties and achieved a lot of successes. He maintains very strong connections in the industry in the Bangladesh market and also overseas. And we are happy that he is with us as a partner today, not only for this seminar, but for all of our initiatives in Bangladesh. And I would say that he is our eyes and ears for the Bangladesh market. Welcome, Mr. Rajor. And yeah, he can always be contacted in Bangladesh. Right, we come back to the main topic of today on the time management. The speaker for today is Jayasudha Chitti Babu, who will take us through the next 1 hour. She is an expert trainer for soft skills, an MBA, a graduate from London, having 17 plus years of industry experience, developing and implementing strategic processes, forward-thinking sales techniques, optimal state tab deployments for operational efficiency. Her expertise, I would say, she has got an in-depth understanding of business, including all sectors, I would say, hospitality, logistics, BPO, MNCs, etc. So she's adept at conceptualizing and directing business development initiatives and operations. She is based out of Bangalore. She is associated with us for soft skills. We have other programs as well lined up with her. And she would be the speaker for today. Ms. Jayasudha, I would request you to take us through the next 1 hour's time, and we're eagerly looking forward to you. Thank you.
Yeah, just a second. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to just push away this. Yes. Right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, Mr. Bhaskar and team. And Rajan from the Believer, you have got collaborated, market and put all these people forward so that they could gain some kind of a knowledge with regards to soft skills. And I must thank you for this initiative, for bringing people all, across the globe, connected, and so that we had value to our workplace and personal life and be more productive. Right. So today's topic, I do not want to take much time of introducing myself, which Mr. Bhaskar has already taken care of it. We have, I think we are running short of time, so I should be able to cover up most of the topics so that you are able to be more fruitful towards the end of the session. Right. Today's topic, let us discuss about time management. Time management is one of a key element for soft skill. Before I jump into the topic, you must be asking me, what is this soft skill? What is such a glamour around soft skill? Soft skill is a character traits. It adds value to your interpersonal skills, which means that you will be able to understand and talk to the other person more effectively, and so that they will be able to understand the matter more clearly and in a more disciplined way. When I talk about soft skill also complement to the art skills in the workplace. What are the hard skills? Hard skill is nothing but the task, what to be done. You know exactly what are your targets, what is your duty, what is your jobs, what are your responsibilities. But when it comes to how to do is when we all slag there, or we get sulking there, and we think about that, oh my god, I have so much of stress, I'm exhausted, I don't know exactly how I should be able to achieve the target. So there, you need soft skills. Without soft skills, you will not be able to achieve the deadlines or the goals in timely manner. Hence, the time management is so essential that in soft skill, that if you don't possess this, you will be a failure there. In order to be achieving the goals in a timely manner, we should be able to understand and see to that we are given in prioritization and planning and organizing the time effectively, and see to that it works for us. Talking about time management, I'm sure we have to do some kind of a self-analysis. How well do you all manage your time? Not exactly. Yes. So we all don't manage our time well, and that's why we are not able to, be a successful person, not able to achieve the target in the deadline, right? So taking the situation of the workplace, we talk to our colleagues and we talk to our team members. Say I am a team manager. What are the excuses you receive from your fellow staffs? That I don't have enough time to work on critical tasks. I'm taking more time to achieve this task because I'm not able to focus properly. The third excuse you will receive, that I will take some work home and let me achieve the task, so that within the next week I'll be able to be prepared. So you receive a lot of excuses from your fellow staffs that they were not able to achieve the given task in the timely manner, and hence they go stressed. When they're stressed out, obviously you don't have enough energy to do the next task. You have low confidence level, your positivity bends to negativity. You will see to that you are diminishing in day by day at your workplace, and also not able to balance your personal life as well. You get a lot of misunderstanding and arguments at your with your partners at home, maybe not able to give you enough time to your child, not able to also give time to your friends, not able to give time to other curricular activities. That means the exercises or any kind of activities you would want to participate in order to get high energy. These are the excuses you will be receiving because you're not able to time well. Today, I am going to teach you the basic principle of time management. I will also teach you the steps, which has the measures which you have to take in order to manage time well. And towards the end of the session, you will be receiving few recommendations as well, which you can follow in your routine life so that you'll be able to achieve the target well. Right. Moving on to the time management, I am going to talk about the principle of time management. What is the principle of time management? Without any kind of a principle, you cannot have any methods. You cannot have any steps. You cannot have any kind of recommendations, right? So first, analyze and understand what is the principle of a time management. The rule of a time management is the 80-20 rule. What is this 80-20 rule? I will come to the details a little later. First of all, let me introduce this rule, which was founded by an Italian economist. His name was Vilfredo Pareto. He came up with this principle called Pareto principle. He discovered that Italian economy was coming from only from the 20% of the population. He covered 80% of wealth and economy came from 20% of population, and he started to dig in more and found it out that all the economic activities were based on this principle. What I mean by this principle, according to this principle, the 20% of your activity result in 80% of the task. That means 10 tasks you have for the day, you're able to pick up 2 tasks for the day, the most important and the critical task of the day, and able to achieve it. If you're able to achieve them, that means you're able to result 80% of the target. Let me tell you more details about the 80% rule, 80 and 20% principle. Say you have pick up a salesperson. His job is to obviously to meet a lot of customers and talk to a lot of customers. The basic principle of a salesperson is to meet the customers, right? In order to meet he cannot give an excuse that these customers are bad, those customers are good, they're not able, they are rude. In spite of all kind of challenges, he should be able to meet the customer. Once he can meet the customer, he will be able to analyze whether the customers are rude or was able to give him businesses, or maybe he will come back to you later. That is the principle of a salesperson. Similarly, in a time, you would be able to find this principle. And this principle is achieved only by certain people who are being able to understand what their goals are and able to understand what the goals, the task has to be in order to meet the goals, without which he will not be able to be productive. I have a small clipping. I will show you about this 80-20 principle because this is a vast subject. It will take a lot of time to understand what is this 80-20 rule. So I have compressed this discussion in a video format, so you will be able to understand this principle, so that it will help you for the following steps. That will teach you what are the techniques and how you have to achieve the techniques and the recommendations. Let me play the video. Please concentrate on the video so that you will be able to understand this 80-20 rule more elaborately. Yes, I'm sure you all visualized the video and understood what is a 80-20 rule. I know it takes a more deeper understanding. In order to understand the 80-20 rule, you need to understand the techniques, the process of time management. That we are going to start talking about it now. So what are the steps required for a time management? The first step is the situation analysis. The second step is the management of time wasters. The third will be to plan and implement. And the fourth will be to track and share the outcomes. That easy? Is that easy to sound, right? But in practical, I'm sure we all are facing the same difficulties that we're not able to prioritize our work. Let's take a situation of a salesperson again. Let's take the situation and analyze the situation. A salesperson tasks or job responsibility is to complete the task within the deadline. That means he's given a goal. He's given a target that he has to achieve within a week or a month or maybe a year or fortnight. It depends on how the organization has structured the goal setting. So while he is actually understanding the situation, while he understands his job, most of us fail in prioritizing our tasks. We have so many tasks in a day structured, and we are not able to figure out ourselves what tasks ask to go in what time and how much time it has to be allocated. Should I give importance to the task? Should I have to create the urgency for the tasks, or should I just leave it at that? So that's where the confusions. Once you know how to prioritize your task and understand the situation, the following steps gets more easier. So how do I plan and prioritize my work? You know all that we have some important tasks to achieve. You have some urgent tasks to be achieved. There are some non-important tasks and non-urgent tasks as well. How do I analyze now? I personally put in 50% of my time mostly on the urgent and important tasks. Some tasks are important as well as urgent. Like for example, my work. I have a deadline today. My today's task is to find a customer and ensure that he signs a contract with me and fetch me businesses. Isn't that very important for us? Isn't that creating an urgency? Because otherwise you will be backing your time and then you'll end up not able to finish the task in the given time. So I put in my work responsibility, my work goals into this kind of a quadrant and ensure that I put in this box where this task is important as well as urgent for me. There are certain tasks which are important but not urgent. I give in 25% to such tasks. For example, exercising, isn't it? Because we all need to have that kind of energy in order to achieve our most important task and important task. So in order to do that, I need energy. If I am not doing a regular exercise, I will not be able to fit into work physically. So my exercising is so important to me, but not urgent. You can keep a time frame. There are some people who hit the gym or go for walking or maybe exercise, do yoga, everything in the evenings. There are some people who do in the morning. I do not want to tell you that you have to fix yourself and do it only in the morning, because it depends on the individual how well they will be able to plan and how much time has to be given. It is at most important, but not an urgent task. So hence you have to schedule the task and prioritize the task accordingly for the day. Once I've understood that what is important and not urgent to me, what is important and urgent to me, the rest of the tasks becomes more easier. There are certain tasks which are urgent but not important. What are they? You might have a question, because how do I analyze now? Because I have urgent, but I feel this is important. Not necessarily. Certain things like you have to fix some plumbing issue at home. Maybe some internet connection has gone wrong. Maybe you need some kind of a data which has to be collected before you meet your customer. Maybe you need some kind of a numbers, to give in for a meeting, when you to talk in the meeting, I mean. So you have so many tasks, but I feel that these are urgent because without that, you will not be able to function for the next days, right? If you don't fix a plumbing issue, you will have problems with your wife and family, considering that I'm talking to most of the men here, and I know vice versa. Yeah, or if you don't fix it, then you have your mother or father, always pressurizing you that you're not able to fix it. So it is an urgent matter, without which otherwise you will not have water, the telephone, the internet connection I'm talking about, because you also have some kind of a work to be functioning back home. Then what you do, you need an internet connection. It is an urgent matter which you have to attend, but not important. So what you do for such tasks, you delegate to others. I'm sure most of them are working professionals. You have a team, you will have an assistant, someone to fix your office works, right? You will see to that you will be able to get the data from a designated team, maybe some technical team who will be able to collate the data and arrange it for you before you go in for the meetings. And there will be someone who will attend the personal work which you feel that it is urgent and somebody has to mention them. So such are the tasks. What is the last matrix which I'm talking about here? As you see, eliminate or do using during your spare time, which are not urgent and not important. What are they? Like going out for a drive, listening to some musics, maybe watching a TV or web series on Netflix, or some kind of fun matter. You feel that you have to spend time because you need to have some kind of a stress buster. There are so many speakers and other tutorials which tells that you have to eliminate this. But I feel that you have to give a little bit time for that as well, because you always need some kind of a stress buster. Some people will feel charged up when they listen to a music. Some people feel charged up if they go for a driving or a riding. And some people just want to have a friend beside just to talk over and understand what is the economy, where this is going and all that. But what I mean is allocate only little time, basically 10% of your productive time, not more than that. If you waste too much of time in gossiping, too much time in driving, too much time in getting into the extracurricular activities, then you will not be able to concentrate on the most important and urgent tasks. So you need to prioritize, allocate the section, maybe plan a day accordingly. You have 8 hours of work for the business, you have to keep that 8 hours accordingly. Maybe take all the important tasks and plan it. How I do it, you know that when we hit to the work, there are certain times that we don't know whether we have to go for a meeting, you need to speak to a customer, or you have to reply to the mails and answer the telephone calls. I feel that you have to analyze and have a strict policy and have a determination and focus to one certain thing. That is, you have to achieve a target. You have to find yourself productive for that day. By end of the day, you should feel proud of yourself. You should be able to tell to yourself that you're able to give in the maximum time to a task which is going to fetch in business, which is going to be fruitful for you. Unless you prioritize and allocate, you will not be able to meet the deadlines in the timely manner. While you're prioritizing, there are certain tasks which will come into your mind. You will have some factors, procrastination. What is a procrastination? Let me tell you, it is delaying the task, like keeping it forward. For example, if for a salesperson, and if he thinks that he will not be able to meet 15 customers today, he will think that let me take that 5 customer and push it forward tomorrow, and let me complete it for tomorrow. Let me complete 10 because I'm actually feeling tired, because he has not been physically fit, because he's feeling low energized. So what he has to do, he has not prioritized, he has not maybe followed the tips, the technique of an allocation task has to be given, the matrix has to be followed. If he failed to do that, obviously he is going to procrastinate. He will push the work for tomorrow. When he's pushing the work from tomorrow, the tomorrow's work gets piled up. You have 5 more customers to meet tomorrow, and he has got less time. So what he does, he will try to run and meet all the customers, and he will not be able to find a quality of the work. Maybe the amount of time he has to spend with one customer is reducing it and giving a very little time, and maybe he's not able to reach the right customer, maybe not able to answer the questions for the customers and able to get business to the company. So that is why it is very important, while you are prioritizing, while you are analyzing the situation, you keep in mind that you stay determined, you don't procrastinate, you stay out of the distractions. You have to balance both personal and work life together. Because see, personal life is also equally important. What all of us, many of us do is we skip away the personal life, time spending with the children, times to spend with your parents or your partner. Because you don't do that, you get exhausted or anxiety, you will lead with a lot of arguments, and then your peace of mind gets disturbed, and so you will not be able to function your work, which has to be done tomorrow, more efficiently. So all you have to do is understand that you balance this matrix well. Take a quadrant, and mark yourself. In case if you're a first timers and you're not able to decide, you can just mark which are the important tasks for you and which is an urgent task for the day, and you can mark the tasks which are not important and not urgent at the same time. So the rest of the tasks you can be able to decide whether they are urgent or important, and accordingly you will be able to understand and analyze yourself that where my timing is going on. So once you figure out and prioritization of your daily tasks, you will be able to obviously understand where my time is also getting wasted, right? So once you figured out to prioritize and where you have, wasting your time on, you will be able to be on the right path to plan and implement. Yes, without prioritization and understanding where your time getting wasted, you will not be able to plan and implement. What we are doing in general, I'm talking about the people who are not being able to be successful. What they do is basically they take the planning and implementation as a first step. They plan, they execute, they fail, and then they crib about it and talk about why they're not being successful. Where am I going wrong? What is that required? Do I need to hire more staff? Do I need to spend more money? So all these thoughts come into existence only because you do the planning and implementation at the first step, and then you think about prioritizing and all that factors. And that's why you see many people who being not able to be successful. If you ask me, successful people, how are they able to plan? Because they're prioritizing. They allocate the work, what is required and what is important, what is urgent accordingly, and then is when they are planning and implementing. You see, how do I plan and implement? Once you are prioritized, once you have understood where your time wasted, just take maybe a notebook, or maybe if you're a digital person, take a Excel. Just plan your a day. Just see how well you're prioritizing and what are the time you're giving for those tasks. Once you're able to understand, maybe 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, when you get the practice, then everything, the planning and implementation get into the head. You don't have to read and write down or note it down in any Excel or notebook and anything. Everything go register in your mind. Once you know that I am spending half an hour for my exercise and the other half an hour to ensure that you do some kind of a meditations, or maybe I'm reading a newspaper in order to understand the economy, because that's equally important. When you're in the workplace, when you're meeting customers, you should be prepared, isn't it? So you plan accordingly. You plan your calendar. You plan. I will not suggest you to do a to-do list, because that's not so common these days. Plan your calendar. Maybe you just have to write down the number of hours you're spending on each task. When you're able to discover where your time is getting wasted and where the time has to be given. This will get useful for you for the next day. So once you're planned and implemented, you obviously will track and share the outcomes. See, what happens today in today's world is once you've appointed a salesperson, say I'm just giving an example of a salesperson who is working for an organization. He is able to meet the customer, get a lot of insights and businesses to the organization. You keep cheering him up and you talk about that he's completed the target in the form of numbers. But what we have to understand here is you have to make him talk about how he's able to achieve that target. You have to understand how he has done that. Ask him to share. Ask him to share to your team members or maybe to yourself also. And maybe that tips will help some of the people to understand and analyze if they've gone wrong somewhere, and maybe they will be able to correct it. If you have been successful, please share the outcome. Not just in the form of numbers, but describing how you met the customer, what exactly happened there, how you were able to convince the customer, how you're able to get the contract signed. All this happens only if a successful person is managed his time well. He will not be able to be successful if he was not able to manage his time well, and otherwise he will not be able to achieve the target, right? The sharing of outcome is as important as any other steps. Now come to tracking. What am I talking about tracking? You have team of people, right? You have obviously the achievers, and some of them are non-achievers. Maybe I will say they're not able to generate the same businesses as what you expect from them. You track towards the end of the month. That is very wrong. All you have to do is keep on tracking. Not saying to micromanage it, but over a period of time, maybe a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis, if you have given a target to achieve in a month, you have to ensure that to understand what he is able to do on a daily basis. Was he able to complete the task in the given day? And was he being successful or not? When you track certain outcomes of certain individuals who are not being successful or would not able to achieve the target, you will be able to figure out and give them some tips and suggestions so that they will be able to meet the targets towards the end of the month, and that will in turn be fruitful for your business. Isn't that why we are all working and striving hard to to be successful and to make money, right? We have to see that the same amount of time what you give for the work balance, you have to see to that you give the same amount of time to your personal life as well. We thought this because this personal life will fetch you energy and motivation and gives you the positivity to balance your work life. So time is important for both the aspect. You cannot actually be successful if you're not able to manage the time on your work life as well as in the personal life. Like I said, follow the principle, the 80-20 rule. That means you will be able to achieve the task. Say you have 10 tasks for a day. Pick up 2 tasks, the most productive task which will be fruitful for you today, and which is going to actually allow you to be successful. I think somebody has to mute. All right, thank you. So yes, so take that number of, keep the 10 tasks for a day and pick up those 2 tasks, which is going to at most give you the 80% result. Start applying that principle and follow the steps, the 4 easiest steps, which is one is to share them, situation analysis. The second is to find what is your time wasting, section. The third, obviously, you will plan and implement it. In the last, you will be able to share and track the outcomes. It's that easy, but to follow this, it would takes practice. You cannot get that in a day's time. You have to keep practicing it and keep on being disciplined, determined, and focused. And only then you will be able to achieve maybe in 1 month or 2 months time. How fast you pick it up and how fast you implement these steps are very essential. So like I mentioned to you towards the end, I'm going to give you practical recommendation. So I have them here. So just follow these 8 practical recommendations if you can and see how it's going to change your life. The first recommendation I would like to give you is avoid meetings before 10:30 a.m. if you're working professional, obviously. Avoid meetings before 10:30 a.m. to focus on your key activities requiring the greatest concentration. What do I mean by here is I have seen many businesses, they keep meetings, briefing, or you call it as, a small, briefing, they call it as, but in the beginning of the day, it doesn't require, you don't have to keep the meetings at the beginning of the day, because all your meetings for yesterday should be kept the end of the day of the yesterdays, right? It is not going to be being fruitful because your energy level is very high during the peak of which is the mornings, during the peak of the session, the task or the work life. You cannot have the meeting at that point in time and waste it. So you will receive a lot of production during the morning in the first half of the session, or after 10:30, and ensure that you give the task from allocate the task according to this your fellow staffs, and ask them to give the work production during that point in time, so that you will be able to be fruitful there. The second is, do not attend meetings if you're not essential. Say you're a team manager and your team members require some kind of allocation of works, or maybe some kind of session where they need to understand their operations better. You have trainers there, you have some kind of seniors who would be able to take charge of such meetings, and you can actually concentrate on what is vital, what is important for the day, and what is important for your goal to achieve. The third will be shorten the usual 1-hour meetings to 45 minutes. And this will really work. It has helped me, and it will help you people as well. Avoid the meetings for 1 hour and save that 15 minutes. It will help you for the end of the day. The fourth will be batch similar tasks together. Example, emails, exam, reply, administrations. There are certain batch emails. But what I mean by emails is certain emails you just have to follow up. Certain emails you just have to reply. Maybe one reply will do for many clients. So you will have something called as BCC. Again, that's an email etiquette. It's a different session altogether. You will have to just email one email to be sent to multiple customers or multiple clients. So batch those emails and just do the tasks, in more deliberate and within little time. The fifth will be to avoid meetings after 5:30 to 6 p.m. Just like how you have to avoid the meetings before 10:30, you have to avoid the times, because that's the time you have to plan for the next day. You don't have to have another end meeting towards the end of the day where the energy is really low because everybody has worked for the day and they will not be able to concentrate and listen or understand the point of meeting at that point in time. So try to avoid that. The sixth will be keep a 1 hour buffer time per day for absorbing unexpected. Yes, always. So when you start saving some time from a previous day, you will obviously get a buffer time for the next day. Keep those buffer time and make something productive out of that buffer time, and maybe help to analyze, or more of thinking you can do what went wrong for yesterday, what you can plan for the next day. The seventh will be keep 10 minutes at the end of the day to organize your next working day. Yes, because that 10 minutes is going to really help you what you have done for the day. While you prioritize, you have made a calendar for yourself. You've understood how many hours you're spending for each hour, what work you have done. Is that work required so much of a time? You will understand this and start to organize this in that 10 minutes of the end of the day. Impose yourself strict rules to minimize the time spent dealing with unsolicited or irrelevant messages. Yeah, of course, there are so many people who engage themselves in the social activities, maybe chatting with someone on FB, Insta, Twitter. not required, because that's your productive time. So you don't have to deviate yourself from such time. Like I told you, have some time left, during end of the day or maybe end of the week. You just keep certain time, maybe a 10% of the total time, and allocate, and maybe you can engage yourself then, but not during the productive time. So this, if you follow, I'm sure it is not as simple as it sounds, because I have also been there. I have worked out my calendar. I have tried to prioritize, and today I'm able to be a better person. I have seeing a successful day is only because I'm following such methods and steps and follow the principle wisely. So, and towards the end, what did we come to in conclusion? Please don't manage your time, manage yourself. You have to self-discipline yourself. You have to understand yourself and not the time. Once you have understood and managed yourself, the time will follow you. You will be able to understand whether you're losing time or not losing time, whether you're able to meet the deadlines and work more efficiently. So before moving, I think I've covered up most of the questions. If you have any mind, if with the illustration, if you have any questions or queries, this is the time. Maybe you can utilize this 5-10 minutes and start shooting up some questions if you have any.
Participants. Yeah, yes, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
In practical life, what we are observing during the office time, due to the pressure of work, due to the pressure of boss, top management, we are strict to perform our task, okay, during the office time. But after the office time, when we are free, it is difficult to manage rest of the time as per the expectation. So there is a gap, balancing of time. So, so how can we overcome this gap?
You mean to say that where you have to be productive, you're not able to give time there, but instead you're killing the time and not being productive, is what you're saying?
No, not like that. I'm saying when the productive time, let's say from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The office time. This is a productive time. Let's assume. So we are performing as per our expectation, as per our notebook, or as per our deadline. But after finishing the office time, when we reach our home, that time we are not doing our activities as per the expected level.
You mean to the personal life? You're not able to concentrate on the personal life. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was mentioning to you at the beginning. You have to prioritize. You have to give the important value for the important task, because like I said, personal life is also equally important like your work life, right? So you need to ensure that you practice some habits, get those habits into existence. Maybe if you're late sleeper, try to wake up early a bit. Maybe you will see the sunrise, go for a walking, maybe get the physical activity within yourself, like gym or yoga or any such activity which is going to help you to bring in high energy. Right. Once you have that, obviously your production in work field is going to be really good, that the outcome is going to be really good. Once the outcome is good, you're going to feel charged up, you're going to feel positive. So when you get back to your home, there you don't have to complete the task. That's exactly why I'm telling you this. What everybody is doing today is they don't prioritize the task, they don't allocate the task, they don't give time to the personal space, they don't follow the workspace. That is why you have to follow the matrix which I just showed it to you. Allocate, so schedule this matrix. So make a quadrant, see which are important, which are urgent tasks for you, see which are not important and not urgent for you, and try to place those activities in those quadrants, and maybe you will be able to get better and better. Again, this again requires dedication. Not, you just don't do it for one day and just leave it at that. You have to keep practicing and come to a day where you know that, okay, you have now got enough time, you know what you're doing, you have prioritized, and you are more successful and more positive when you have actually allocated in this matrix and analyze the problems. You will be yourself, will be the best person to analyze your problem. Nobody else will be able to describe you that you are a bad or unsuccessful person, because we know ourselves that we are able to accomplish the work within the time frame or not, right? So that is why today's session was useful, because we have a very less time of 1 hour. We cannot detail the topics, elaborate the topics within this 1 hour time. So I've covered up this recommendation. You can follow those recommendations, the 8 recommendation, like I've just given it to you, and probably that will help you to discipline yourself and plan your day accordingly.
That is very good.
Yeah, Mr. Rajan, to add to what Ms. Jayasudha was talking about, we come back to a very interesting topic other than the time management, which is also talked about work-life balance. So how much of time we can devote to the family, how much of time we can devote to the office. So there needs to be a work-life balance, because at least in this part of the subcontinent of the world, we find that we spend more time for the work rather than giving less time for the family. And this is going to have an adverse impact at the later part of life, because in the initial stages, we don't realize that, but at a later point of time, when health starts telling upon us, then you realize the importance that you're not able to really give much time to the family. So that's a completely different context where we talk about work-life balance. How much of time do I need to devote to the work? How much of time do I need to devote to the family? If you look at the Europeans or the Western countries, so they have very specific and clear things that they don't even touch anything on the weekends. They don't touch their mobile phones. They don't answer any mails. So this is something that's culturally we are different, but we need to work on that. There's a long way to go for that, because we are used to that for generations, I would say.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. There is an announcement. We are posting a feedback link. We request all participants to please spend a few seconds to fill up the feedback form and submit that. So we'll take a couple of more questions now. It's open for questions now. Thank you. Anyone else, please?
If not, we ask Mr. Rajan to say a few words. We will start in the afternoon session, so he can have a few words before we conclude.
So, thank you everybody for having a nice session. The most important things we came to know, some recommendation from this session that is really, really effective to break through our life. Okay, we will try to follow the recommendation given by Jayasudha. And apart from this, to all of the participants, we will be continuing this sorts of webinar on a regular basis. Maybe one webinar per month we will be implementing or we will be launching. And another things, in Bangladesh, what we are doing some ISO certification, some consultancy, some training, a lot of things. So if you have any kind of support from us, just knock us through the mail or through the any network. So I'm really happy by attending this session, and I am really grateful to all of you, Sir Bhaskar sir, and our well-experienced trainer Jayasudha, and thanks all the participants who attended today's session. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajan. Thanks a lot to all the participants, and thanks, of course, to Jayasudha for really managing the time, I would say, today, and which is very important for us as well. And also thanks to my team here, Siju, Gautam, Nitin, everybody for all the arrangements, including Sheila for all the arrangements for today's webinar. and it was nice, and we're sure we will definitely catch up for the next session, as Mr. Rajan has already pointed out. And as I told in the beginning of the session as well, Mr. Rajan is our ears and eyes for us in Bangladesh. So he can always be contacted for any of our services. His numbers are already available. And of course, he has formed a network with all of you people. And anything, please reach out to him, reach out to us. And we as a team together, we partner and we deliver services. Thanks to all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would
Thank you.
thank you all for listening to me, and I'm sure that more and more sessions will be coming forward. Let us understand each and every topic in depth, because soft skill is a vast, it's a big topic altogether. So we need to analyze and understand each topic's deficiency of time, because we have only 1 hour of constraints. So we were not able to give more detail on the topics. So I would wish that everybody stay home, stay safe, and bring in the positive vibes. Try to analyze yourself and make yourself more productive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.